The confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 1,540, with 11 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 25 additional cases were reported and no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, September 6th. A new variant of COVID-19 has been identified in Los Angeles County, known as the Mu variant. It was labeled a variant of interest at the end of August by the World Health Organization. So far, only 167 Mu variants have been identified in 167 cases in LA County. These specimens were sequenced between June 19th and August 21st. The Mu variant was first detected in Colombia in January earlier this year and has been reported in 39 countries. According to recent reports, 2,000 Mu cases have been identified in the U.S., including California, Florida, Texas, and New York. The California Department of Public Health reported 348 Mu cases so far. The number of coronavirus patients in hospitals throughout Los Angeles County continues to decline through the holiday weekend. The latest figures come as county health officials reported 11 additional deaths linked to the virus and just over 1,500 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. Now, while officials say today's numbers likely reflect reporting delays, they're cautiously optimistic that this may be the turn in direction they've been waiting for. While officials confirm the presence of the new Mu variant of COVID-19, the Delta variant still remains the dominant strain circulating in LA County. According to LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer, the county has begun seeing a decrease in the rate of new infections. The county's cumulative 7-day rate of new cases was 159 per 100,000 residents last week, a 16% drop from the previous week and down 22% from the peak of 204 new cases per 100,000 residents in mid-August. Data shows that among eligible county residents ages 12 and over, 75% have received at least one dose of the vaccine, while 65% are now fully vaccinated. The nation's top health official said in an interview this weekend that Americans will need to wait until the U.S. Food and Drug Administration gives the official green light to get the booster shot for the general public. Dr. Anthony Fauci stressed the importance of the FDA's approval before devising any plan for distribution of booster shots. Current guidance says that only individuals with moderately or severely compromised immune systems should receive a booster shot, as such individuals might not build the appropriate immunity from the initial 2 shots. Dr. Fauci says he hopes to see the approval soon in order to get the booster shots for both candidates, Moderna and Pfizer, rolled out by the week of the 20th. And while he says we may only get access to one initially, the other would likely follow soon thereafter. The Biden administration suggests individuals should get a 3rd shot 8 months after their initial dose of the vaccine and set out a date of September 20th to hopefully make booster shots available to the general public. A new study is finding that COVID-19 antibodies in blood donors significantly increased after the vaccination rollouts. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a new study that says COVID-19 antibodies increased nearly 4 times in blood donations between July 2020 compared to May 2021, studying nearly 1.4 million blood specimens. Once the Food and Drug Administration authorized emergency use of COVID-19 vaccines, and official vaccination rollouts began in December for the greater population, antibodies in blood donors increased 83.3%, an increase from 20.2%. The study also found that infection-induced antibodies were more prevalent in the Hispanic and Black populations compared to Asian and white populations. Researchers say more studies need to be done comparing infection-induced versus vaccine-induced antibodies and how long they can last in the body. Researchers also noted that the study was limited on data comparing antibody longevity and effectiveness against new variants of the COVID-19 virus. As college students return to campus for in-person learning, one local university in Orange County reported an alarming number of COVID-19 cases in the first week of school. Officials at Chapman University reported that 223 students and staffers tested positive for COVID-19 since returning to campus last week. One of the new policies now in place includes all students and staff being required to be fully vaccinated no later than September 14th, and those with acceptable exemptions needing to take a COVID test twice weekly. The surge in recent cases raised concerns among students and faculty who've said virtual alternatives for quarantining students missing classes are not always available. Chapman officials say they are committed to its full return to in-person instructions with health and safety protocols in place to slow the spread of COVID-19. As of now, there are no plans to provide ongoing hybrid or online instructions. Federal unemployment benefits came to an end for millions of Americans this Labor Day weekend. On Saturday, 4 pandemic-related unemployment programs expired: the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, the Pandemic Additional Compensation, and Mixed Earner Unemployment Compensation. The CARES Act, which passed in March of 2020, raised weekly jobless benefits by $600 a week, then later to $300 a week, and the federal government offered financial assistance to workers typically ineligible for traditional state benefits, like those who are self-employed, gig workers, and part-time employees. Congress then extended these programs twice already, once last December and again this March, but opted not to do so a third time. Now, this means close to 9 million people are expected to lose these benefits, and it's happening this weekend with another 3 million expected to see their weekly benefits reduced. According to the California Employment Development Department, this means 2.2 million Californians will be without the added aid. Economists noted that what's holding back the labor market recovery is not unemployment insurance, but rather the ongoing safety concerns related to COVID-19, as well as households struggling with family care responsibilities, especially with the Delta variant of COVID-19 still a major concern. Well, the effects of the pandemic and the limited supply chain for many sectors is hitting the automobile industry hard, possibly impacting consumers for years ahead. The shortage of computer chips had sent auto prices soaring in the spring, and experts say there seems to be no relief in sight. With the recent surge in COVID-19 cases from the Delta variant in several Asian countries that are the main producers of auto-grade chips, analysts say it's worsening the supply shortage and delaying a return to normal of auto production. Data shows that record high consumer prices for vehicles new or used, as well as rental cars, may extend into next year and might not fall back down until 2023. According to J.D. Power, vehicle buyers are facing unthinkable price spikes. The average price of a new vehicle sold in the U.S. in August hit a record of just about 41,000, more than 8,000 from just 2 years ago. In August, new car sales in the U.S. tumbled nearly 18%, mainly because of supply shortages. Automakers reported that U.S. dealers had fewer than 1 million new vehicles on their lots, 72% lower than in August 2019. The global parts shortage involves not just computer chips, but wiring harnesses, plastics, and glass as well. With California's gubernatorial recall election less than 2 weeks away, 108 polling places were open starting Saturday morning across Los Angeles County for early in-person voting. Now, those who plan to vote in person are required to wear masks inside polling places where voting machines are positioned to accommodate social distancing and cleaned multiple times daily. For voters who need to find the closest located to them, you can look it up at lavote.net. You can also check your smartphone to navigate where the closest location is. Postcards have also been mailed to every registered voter with a printed list of voting locations that are closest to where they live. Early voting runs from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. every day until September 13th. The recall election takes place on September 14th. This is only the fourth gubernatorial recall election in U.S. history. As the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks approach, cities all across the country are preparing memorials and commemorative events to honor and remember the 2,977 lives lost that day. President Joe Biden is expected to visit all three 9/11 memorial sites to pay his respects from Ground Zero in New York City, the Pentagon, and the memorial outside Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Here in Torrance, several events are scheduled to take place this Saturday in front of City Hall. City officials, along with Torrance first responders, will help commemorate the anniversary, honoring all the lives lost on that tragic day. Then across town at Hickory Park, Torrance victim John Wenkes, who was killed on Flight 11, will be remembered as the community is invited to safely gather for a picnic. And over at Seaside Heroes Park, 2,997 flags will be planted in honor of all of the September 11th heroes. You can get more information on the city's website at torranceca.gov. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, the first Monday of September celebrates Labor Day, and this year marks the 139th year it's being recognized. The history of Labor Day began with a parade in New York City in 1882 and became an official federal holiday in 1894. It was organized by labor unions paying tribute to the American working men and women. Labor leaders have worked through the years to create standards like 40-hour work weeks, weekends off, having sick days and paid time leave, equitable labor laws and workplaces, and much more. Here in Torrance, the city of Torrance employs nearly 1,700 full-time and part-time workers throughout its 13 departments. And in honor of this Labor Day, we wanted to introduce you to one of the many Torrance City employees who's committed to making sure businesses are in line with the city's safety protocols, especially during the pandemic. Colleen Farrell tells us more.
At the top of the morning, when most people are logging into their computers and checking voicemail, Janet D'Artois is hitting the streets, canvassing for what doesn't match Torrance's vision of environmental quality.
We do a lot here in the city. We want to present a clean feel for the city.
As one of the city's 8 environmental quality control officers, she monitors residential neighborhoods, commercial developments, and construction sites to make sure they're adhering to the city's municipal codes and aesthetic standards.
You'll see with a lot of our commercial sites, the signage is uniform.
When back in the office, her focus shifts to reviewing commercial and residential plans for new development and renovation projects.
Looks like some remodel going on a single-family residence where they're going to be creating an ADU as well. And we're going to be checking out these setbacks because they do have a patio cover. This is an example of a property with some overgrown vegetation. The bulk of our job is following up on complaints from residents here in the city, and those can go from property maintenance, overgrown vegetation, trash, debris, just hoarded out conditions, cars parked on the lawn. This is obviously a hoarder situation, and this is what it looks like after a little assistance from the city, because sometimes our residents just need a little bit of help, and that's what we're here to do with them.
Take a listen around Torrance and pay attention not to what you hear, but to what you don't hear. A big part of D'Artois' job is noise abatement, both here at the airport and around the city.
That's an aircraft, so this is what we listen for. This is the distinction between what sounds we're listening for and what sounds we're not listening for. And this aircraft went over one of our noise monitors, and he was within our allowable levels. So he's perfect, he's good to go.
And if you're not in compliance, you typically have 15, 30, or 60 days to get there, or receive a follow-up call or visit from D'Artois.
Environmental, this is Jana.
But for D'Artois, it's all part of her mission of keeping Torrance looking beautiful.
I get to see the city. I get to see how the city develops, and I get to drive through and I see projects, and I've worked on that plan. I'm like, oh hey, I helped with that. I love getting to see that come up in the city.
And thanks to D'Artois' work, Torrance shines a little brighter. For Torrance Citi Cable, Colleen Farrell.
Thanks so much, Colleen. What a great way to share how our Torrance employees truly care for our city. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you right back here tomorrow as Rhiannon Trutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.